Hey, this is Nathan here, guitarist from Crypt. Yeah, old school Brisbane death metal band, and we're pumped to play potentially. Well, it's looking like our last ever show at Necrosonic Fest in a couple of weeks, and a few serendipitous moments. It's the 30th anniversary of our demo that came out in '94, and it's actually the same month and the same venue as Alan, our drummer's first ever gig with the band.
Wow, a lot of
So
history
that's
there
kind of
then.
unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, like it's about 2 weeks apart, but 30 years. Yeah.
Fucking hell. Going to be a cracker of a night then.
Oh, mate, sure is. We are ready as we'll ever be.
Sweet. So, as you say, bro, Crypt are one of 30 bands appearing at Necrosonic Festival at the Mansfield Tavern on August 31st. So, it's a
Yep.
massive day of metal with 30 bands over 3 stages in 12 hours, mate. But how are you feeling about the show? Like, you excited for it, or is it like a bit bittersweet?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No. We're guns blazing.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned before, man. Like it's going to be that little bit more special for Crypt, who returned to the stage after a number of years away for a one-off performance, especially
Yep.
for Necrosonic, mate. Like, what made you decide to commit to this particular show to have your last show?
Well, Kent, he just talked us around. He bumped into Cliff. I was last year at some point, asked us to play, and it was just like, like it's just because we're all spread apart. And then eventually it was like, okay, let's do it. And it's just gained tons of momentum since then. And look, it's unreal because there is nothing like this anymore.
No,
This is like metal for the brain and stuff like that. There's nothing around anymore.
no,
Um,
you're actually right. Like there's a lot of festivals that are coming out these days that are just like faux metal festivals. You got a couple of token metal bands in there, but there's not many that are actual brutally fucking heavy as this one.
yeah, and he's put a killer lineup, good mix. Like it's all heavy, but it covers like a whole lot of different stuff. Newer bands, older. Obviously, he's managed to get some of us old bastards out to, you know what I mean. But it's great. I mean, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And out of all the bands playing, bro, are there any survivors from your era when you guys were at your peak in the 90s? I know there's Misery. Is there any more?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. Oh, PLD, post life disorder. They're playing. They're probably a little bit later, but still, that's back around. When we used to gig together with them back in the day. Yeah, I mean, look, there's members as well that were in. There's bands that are playing who've got guys that were around back then.
Mm. Yeah.
And I mean, Psychroptic were not that long after those days either.
Yeah, very cool. Now,
Mortality, they're from back in the day.
yeah, well, there's a few now you can start rumbling through
Yeah,
them.
totally. Yeah, totally.
Now, a bit of a history lesson here, bro. Like, Crypt formed in Brisbane at the start of the 1990s, mate. So, what was the musical climate like back then that gave birth to you guys, and where did you fit in initially?
Look, Brisbane was a good scene. It's always been pretty good for bands back then. And the great thing I think back then was you could go to gigs and see metal with kind of, alternative, because that was like the alternative era, I guess. But we would go to the Roxy in the Valley, Dreamkillers, Pangea, Misery, like bands like this would be all on the same bill. Bands. So there was always stuff to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even there was like kind of, you wouldn't call it regional, but like suburban metal gigs as well. And you think about it now, where everyone's got smartphones and internet. You wonder how you even heard about these gigs, but everyone was there.
Yeah, the old school, like
Couple of
people used to go up and plaster posters up everywhere.
yeah, Kent
That was the
Kent
way you did it.
Records and Skinnies and stuff. You would see a flyer there for something. Everyone was there. And it was great. You could get into these gigs underage back in the day as well. We were like 14 or 15 going to see Abhorrent and Armoured Angel and stuff. That was one of my first gigs, Armoured Angel, with I think it was Iron Lightning and Abhorrent, Blitzkrieg or something like that. That blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, you mentioned a few bands here I've got written down too, bro. Like the 90s was a great period for not just Brisbane metal, but Australian metal in general. Like you had Dreamkillers, there's Blood Dusters, Damaged,
Yep.
Armored Angel, just to name a few, man. But why do you think Aussie bands really excelled in that decade?
don't know. I guess there was no distractions. I know for us back then, all we did was rehearse. We used to just hang out and rehearse like 3, 4 nights a week. That was like what we did. We'd just meet there on the weekends and just rehearse all night. Um, it's just what everyone did, I think. There was outlets for it because you could just play gigs all the time. It was a real social kind of vibe as well, I think, because there wasn't probably not a lot else to do in Brisbane back then.
True, true. I mean, my memories of those days too, bro. Like it was a lot more of a mateship vibe, Like there was these
Yeah.
days, bands seem to be competing against each other for that little slice of the pie. But back then, no one gave a fuck, Like if you were playing, then come out and support you, and there was
Oh, that's it.
there was no competition.
Yeah, it was just like I say, it was like a social scene as much as a music scene. It was just like that's what everyone did. You just hung out on the weekend and you'd see all the same people there all the time.
Mm, sure. Right. Now you mentioned this before, but you're also celebrating the 30th anniversary of your demo cassette, "Excruciating Agony," mate. So does that mean you're going to be playing that in full?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're playing it like as the demo as well because as the years went by, it got sped up and we've slowed it down, we've tuned down. And it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, unbelievable. And we've got big banners for the stage with the demo artwork and stuff. Like that's going to be part of the vibe.
That's awesome.
So anyone into that will be having a good time.
So you're probably in a good position to tell this now because you would have been playing those songs a lot, rehearsing. So in reflection, of the songs on that demo stood the test of time pretty well?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, they sound amazing. And that's, it's also a chance, I guess, when you step away from the band for a number of years and you come back, you as you've changed as a person, you hear the music differently and the songs. I think that's the thing we've kind of realized is while we're probably towards the end of the original era at the start of the 2000s, everything was just getting faster and faster. But now we kind of finesse the tempos of the song and just the feel, and it just makes the songs actually stand out. Just big riffs. Obviously, Grant's voice it hasn't changed at all.
Cool.
It's crazy. He turns up to first rehearsal and it's just like, there it is.
Just snap it back in.
Yeah. So it just sounds fucking killer. The demo in particular, slowed down. It's like, yeah, we're loving it. We're having a great time.
Right, yeah. And earlier this year, you also re-released your 1998 album, El Nino. So how was the reception to that?
Yeah, I mean that's we went back to we pulled it all from digital and then put it back up as the OG kind of mixes and artwork and that stuff. It's just there, I think. I mean, El Nino is probably a bit different to our first two releases. Just Cliff was on drums and it was getting a bit more flashy, some of the riffs and whatnot. But I mean, there's some killer tunes on there. And it probably hints at where we would have gone had we kept going, but we didn't, Well, we did eventually, we put the 7-inch out, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
A couple of new tunes. And we're actually recording a new song this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Tell us more about that.
It's called Chilling Madness. And it's just like another Crypt song.
Yeah, so it's what fans would expect from nowadays?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just riffs, like riffs and vocals and it was kind of like when we did the tour in 2016 and did the box set, I just started writing songs. We kind of had an idea to do maybe an album or an EP, but in the end, we just went for the 7-inch, 2 songs. But this is still left over from back then.
Right.
So, we're tracking it this weekend. It'll be out the day before the gig.
Fuck, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
And we got Brenton Wright, who did the demo artwork. He's done the artwork for this new song.
Fuck, bit of nostalgia. That's awesome.
Yeah, he just popped up when because I found the original artwork for the demo, and he popped up on Facebook and commented, and I just got in touch and said, "Hey, we're recording. You want to do the art?" And he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." So
that's fucking so. You're gonna have to forgive me for saying this, bro, but the way you're talking and the enthusiasm in your voice, and the fact that you recorded another song,
the day
it makes it hard to believe that
before the
this
gig.
is going to be your last show. Is it? This is definitely going to be it?
Well, look, you can't say you'll never do something again because I never thought we'd do this gig again. But you know, I think so. Like we live far apart. It's hard, and to like I've been flying up every 3 weeks for rehearsals, and it's starts to wear you down. And look, we're not getting any younger either.
Yeah, we discussed that before.
And it's well, it's just I don't know. I think it's good to go out with a bang like this,
For sure.
Yeah.
So for those who may not have seen a live show from Crypt before, mate, like run us through what to expect.
Oh, it's just going to be intense. Intense. I know when I play this stuff, it's hard to explain what happens, but you turn into that person again. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's like when we got in the room and started rehearsing for this, it's just like there's just something there with us guys, and it's all original guys. Like there's no new members. So there's just something about the feel of it. The only thing is when Cliff took over bass from Dave, but he was the drummer on El Nino, you know what I mean? So it's all original guys, and it's just when we play, it just sounds like Crypt. So it just sounds the way it always has.
Yeah, shit. Oh, rightio, brother. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for your time, Nathan. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, mate. You've got me excited for the show. You'll be at Necrosonic on August the 31st at the Mansfield Tavern, so we'll catch you there for a beer.
Can't wait, buddy. Thanks a lot for the chat. Appreciate it.